Hello guys, Dylan here from DigitalAE, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to create a cool futuristic HUD Eye or electronic eye effect inside of After Effects CC. Now for this effect, it doesn't require any third-party plugins or scripts and works with nearly all versions of After Effects, and you'll also need some live action footage of an eye, so you can actually just go down on the internet and go to some stock footage websites and go get that, or you can just simply go down in the description of this video on YouTube and go download the footage I used in this tutorial, which by the way is my very own and I filmed it and stuff, and actually follow along with this tutorial, which would be awesome. So once you've actually taken a look at that, let's see what we'll be creating. So as you can see there, we've actually got the effect. We've got basically just me opening my eye with this sort of HUD. As you can see there, it's just all like really cool and tech and stuff, and as I actually play, you can see that I'm actually looking around, so it is actually tracked to my eye, and then I actually also take another blink there. As you can see, I know the mask isn't that perfect with all the feathering and stuff, but yeah, we'll create our own in this tutorial. So actually, let's get started. So I'm in After Effects right now, and the first thing we want to do is create a new composition. So you just want to hit that sort of button or sort of picture down here to create a new composition, and we're just gonna call this HUD Eye. And the comp is going to be 1920, and I'm going to change this to 816, and the reason I'm doing that is because I want it to be a 2.35 to 1 aspect ratio. So as you can see, it's 2.35 right here. So if I actually switch it back to 1080p, I'm doing a little lesson here, and then just go back to comp settings, you can see that the sort of 16:9 aspect ratio, as you can see here, is actually 1.78 to 1 when I want 2.35, which is going to be 816, and this is just simply because it looks a lot more cinematic, and this is basically the cinematic sort of dimensions of an actual image. So the frame rate is going to be 23.976 with a duration of 8 seconds. I'm just going to click OK. I'm just going to get to 100%, and then I'm going to get that footage and just drag that in, as you can see here. So if I play it, you can see my eye is opened, and I'm sort of looking around and stuff. And I even blink, as you can see there. So this is basically just our footage, and we're going to be making that HUD in behind or on top of the eye. So the first thing we're going to be doing is actually creating the HUD itself. So create a new composition, and we're going to call this HUD, and it's just going to be 1920 by 1080, which is a 16:9 aspect ratio. I did a little lesson on aspect ratios just quickly then. So the way we're going to be creating this is using shape layers. So what we want to do is go up to this rectangle. If it's actually a circle or ellipse, it'll look like this, but all you want to do to change it is just hold it down and then just select it, one of these. So I'm going to select the ellipse tool, and what you want to simply do is just make a circle just like this. Now we want a perfect circle, so all you have to do is hold shift, and then you can drag out. So I'm probably just going to make a nice ellipse or circle, just like this. I'm just going to position it quickly, so that looks about right, just like that. So what we're going to be basically doing is just making heaps of shapes that can rotate and stuff to basically just look like a really technical sort of HUD. So that sounds really weird. So I'm actually going to create, actually we can just duplicate this. So I'm going to duplicate it. We've got two, as you can see here, and then on this top one, I'm actually going to hit this little arrow, then go contents, ellipse, and then go down to stroke, and then when it says dashes, or where it says dashes here, you just want to click this little sort of plus sign, and then it'll add this dash. So if I actually just solo this, as you can see, it's added all these dashes, and we've got two options, dash and offset. So if we actually raise the actual value of the dashes, it's going to have less and less dashes on the actual circle. So what we want to do is just make a couple of dashes. So I'm probably going to make 4, and the thing is, you got to watch out for this. So if I just get the offset and then start rotating it, you can see that it's sort of going in and coming out of this little point up here, and that's not what we want. So what we want to do is just trying to get it to a nice point where it doesn't do that, and if I just try and get it to there, This is hard. So I'm just going to simply try and do this. So I'm just going to probably leave it about there. So we've got these 4 dashes, as you can see here. And what we're going to do is unsolo the layer. And then as you can see, we're just going to get this bottom layer and then just turn the stroke down. So as you can see, we've got this sort of pattern, you could say, and we've got sort of these big chunks actually rotating around this sort of singular ring, as you can see now. So what I'm actually going to do is scale the bottom one, because this is the ring, as you can see here. I'm going to scale that up so the rings are on the inside, as you can see here, and I'm just going to move this down. So what I'm going to quickly do is just parent these square chunks to the ring, so when I select the ring it just moves all as one. Simple stuff. So I'm just going to probably move it to about there. Just make sure there's no gaps in the actual, well, between the ring and sort of these gaps here, or dashes. And basically you just want to create sorry, what you want to do is So what you want to do is just keep creating tons and tons of these. So let's actually make another example. So basically this is just going off pure creativity. This is not going off any guides and stuff. This is just off pure creativity. Now you don't have to do it exactly like this, but I found that this was a really cool way of doing it. And I'm just going to put, again, just going to solo this layer. I'm just going to put probably that many dashes on it. Doesn't really matter if we turn the offset, get the bottom layer, and then just turn the stroke down. And we could even put the sort of ring on the inside, so I'm just going to scale it down instead of sort of up. And as you can see, we've got this nice sort of technical thing. Now you can make even more and more layers. For now I'm not going to do this. So the way we rotate it, we're not going to be actually using the rotation option for a layer. As you can see here, it's not going to be random unless we actually manually do it, but there's an expression that we can actually enter that'll make it go round randomly at different speeds, and it'll turn at different times. So actually let's see that expression. By the way, it's actually a wiggle expression. So I'm just going to hide this example, and I'm going to have this example. So I'm going to select the top layer, which by the way is the dashes, as you can see there, and then just go down to contents again. I'm just going to hide transform, ellipse, stroke, and then when it says dashes, you just want to go there. And then what you want to do on the offset, as you can see, this is where it rotates. What you want to do is hold Alt and then click the stopwatch, which will add an expression to it. So the expression we're going to be typing is wiggle and then bracket 1, 1500, as you can see there. So now if I play it, you can see it's randomly going back and forth at different speeds. And this is pretty cool because it saves you having to manually actually animate it. And by the way, you can actually change these values. So maybe I can go 2 and maybe 100 for a dramatic example of a difference. So as you can see, it's a lot less, and it actually goes back and forth a lot more because the 2 value is higher. So that's actually a really cool way of rotating. So we're actually going to do that for all the layers. And I'm also going to be creating a lot more layers, so I'll be back once I've created all of those. So I just got done finishing with all these shape layers, and I did different combinations of different dashes and all different shapes and stuff, and I've actually added all these layers with the expression of that offset, the wiggle expression. So let's actually see what we've done. We've got the nice sort of spinning effect. Some are slow, and around the outside it's all fast. This is all generated randomly. As you can see, we've got this little problem. If I just show you there, we've got that little sort of offset sort of problem there. So what I'm simply going to do, if this is layer, yes, I'm just going to try and fix that and get the offset, or dashes you could say, and just try and fix that up there. So as you can see, I just fixed it. You just want to play around with the offset so you actually don't have that, because it is annoying. I have a little problem here, but you're not going to really notice it from a different distance. But yes, okay, so the next thing we're going to do is actually start coloring everything. So what we're going to do is go to Effects and Presets panel, as you can see up here, and we're going to type in Tint. and under color correction, the tint will come up. You just want to drag it and select it on, let's say, the bottom layer, for example, because it's a lot thicker than this outer layer, and you could probably tell it better. Because these are sort of all these shape layers, you should say, they're all white. So what we're going to do is map white to this color. So as you can see, if I put red, it's going to go to red. But for this tutorial, I'm going to do a light blue. It's really cool how you can make it any color, but sort of blue is associated with a nice sort of futuristic and holograms and stuff. So it's only fitting to sort of put it to blue. So what I'm going to do is actually copy this and then paste it on the next layer, and for this I'm actually going to go a bit darker. Now you don't want everything to be the same color, you want it to be slightly different, because when we put a glow on it, it's just going to look better in general. Again, you just want to paste it on this layer, and you can just maybe go a bit darker. And you can even have completely different colors. So I could have this, and then maybe put it to like a purple or red or something. I'm just gonna stick to one color because it's just a lot more simpler. But this ring could be really dark, in fact. And then this next one could actually be quite light. So probably maybe green. I'm actually gonna just copy that, and then go onto layer 6, just paste that, and just put it back to one of those regular blues, and then I can just get that and just paste it on that outer one. So as you can see, we've got this cool futuristic sort of HUD display, as you can see here. So what we're actually going to do is mess with the footage and start actually compositing it into the footage. So the way we're actually going to get the sort of HUD under the eye, or sort of under my eyelids here and on top of the eye, is we're actually going to be using masks. Now this is a very simple sort of technique in After Effects, and basically you can just use it for anything. So that's all we're going to be doing. So the first thing I'm going to do is select our footage, and then just hit Control D to duplicate it. Again, you can just actually select it, go up to Edit, go down to Duplicate. The shortcut is Control D, like I just said, and then we're going to rename this to maybe, I'm just gonna maybe just call it mask, but yeah. So yeah, we're gonna call this mask, and what we're going to do is actually go to the sort of first frame where I open it, which is there, I'm pretty sure, yep. And I'm going to hit this pen tool, or you can select G, as you can see G, and it'll bring up the pen tool. I'm just going to get in there, zoom in, and then I'm just going to start creating a mask pretty much around my eyelids, keeping in mind you want a couple of mask points, because it's going to be open and you'll need a lot more sort of flexibility when you do that. I'm also going to select the layer, hit M, and then hit this little keyframe at the sort of where in this point in time a keyframe will happen. So I just want to hit a keyframe there, and then actually want to go to the start of the timeline, select the mask, and then just get that, and then actually hit the mask pass so it selects it all, and then just drag it off. And then I'm going to get this keyframe, Control C to copy it, and then I'm going to go one frame before that happens and just paste it. This way the mask actually won't affect anything, only when it starts opening, which is good. So what we're going to do is just go to the next frame, and we're just going to slowly start actually masking this outer eyelid, as you can see here. So all you want to do is just sort of go along with the eyelid, as you can see here. And this is a very slow process, but it does work perfectly. I suppose you could rotor it, but rotoscope but I reckon it would just take a lot more time, and it wouldn't be as accurate as actually masking, because you have the actual manual flexibility with the actual mask. Then rotoscoping, you're gonna have to trust a computer. So basically you just want to keep doing this, and I'll see you guys when I've done that. So I just finished actually sort of masking the eyelid out. As you can see here, the mask is along with the eyelid and stuff. Even when I actually blink, as you can see there, it goes off frame, comes back on, and actually follows my eye and stuff. So once you've actually completed your mask, you want to hit sort of M, so M, there we go. And then you want to click inverted. Now, why are we going to do this? The reason is we've actually masked the eye like this. We haven't masked everything outside the eye. We want this to be transparent and everything else not to be, but at the moment everything else over here is transparent and this isn't. So we're just going to invert the mask, and while you're at it, you can also just feather it and stuff and just actually mess around with it. A good way to test it is to make a new solid. So I've got a solid here and basically just put that below that and actually see if it follows along. So mine roughly follows along. It doesn't have to be perfect. As you can see here, I'm actually just gonna slowly turn down the feathering so you can see the difference of the actual mask and stuff like that. So you could even have it like that. That's pretty cool. And yeah, so that's a pretty alright mask. So I'm just going to delete the thing, the solid I mean. And basically that step is now done. Now the next final step is to actually tracking the eye itself. So as you can see, I move my eye and I sort of blink around and stuff. So we're going to have to actually track that. Now, the way I track it, you can track it in many different ways, but the way I track it is in Mocha CC, which comes along with After Effects CC. So you can use that, or you could just use the tracker options, you know. You just go to Window, and then Tracker, and then Tracker down here, and you can just track the eye and stuff. But I prefer Mocha because I actually know Mocha a lot more. It's more native to how I actually track things. So I'm going to select my footage, go up to Animation, and go down to Track in Mocha and wait for it to open. Okay, so it's open now, and it's already detected my frame rates and my resolution on my footage, so I'm just gonna click OK. Just like this, and as you can see, my footage is in the timeline. If I scrub through, we've got my eye opening and stuff. So what I'm going to do is just go to a point in time when my eye is fully open, and then I'm going to hit this X-spline tool right up here, and then I'm actually just going to make a shape just around my eye, as you can see here. Now you want to include as much contrast as possible. As you can see, there's not much contrast between my eye except for the white portion and my black sort of pupil and actual sort of iris and stuff. So yeah, I'm just going to select around there, and what I'm going to do is hit track backwards, because the reason I'm not sort of starting at the start is because I actually blink my eye open. So as you can see, it's just done that. We don't have to have that tracking data for that start. So I'm just going to go back to where we did it, which is this little green marker, and then hit track forward also. And just basically just wait for it to track forward. And I'm just going to quickly fast forward it. So as you can see, we've ran into a problem is when we actually blink here, it's tracking, we blink, and then of course it loses its track. So what we're going to do before I open my eye is just move it a little bit, just like this, so I make a little sort of keyframe, and then I'm going to go to that frame, sort of where it's fully open again, and then just reposition the mask. Suppose you could call it a mask. Just like this, if I can even grab it. Just simply like this, and then you can just hit track backwards like we did, or we can just do it frame by frame, as you can see now. And then I'm just going to track forward also just like this, like we did just before when the sort of shape was at the start here. Okay, so now it's actually done tracking, and I just want to export the data, so I'm going to go export tracking data, just click that, and then I'm going to select After Effects transform data position scale rotation, and it's in a .txt file. We're actually not going to save this, we're just going to click copy to clipboard, and then we're going to go back into the After Effects, as you can see now, and create a new null. So we're going to go layer, new null object, and then go to the start of the timeline, click the null object and click Control V, or we can just go to edit paste, as you can see there. And if I just bring up the scale options, so we've got scale, hold shift and R to bring up the rotation. We actually don't need these, so I'm just going to turn off the stopwatches and keyframes for those. And as you can see, we have the actual null attached to my eye, and it's all stuck, and it's really, really cool. So that's all tracked and done just like that. So let's get on to actually compositing it. So what we want to do to actually composite the HUD on top of the eye, we want to select the HUD composition and then just drag it in between the mask and the actual original footage. Now the reason it's not there is because it's below the mask, so if I just turn off the mask, as you can see, it's right there. So what we're going to do is just scale it down and then just position it, so we can just basically scale it down to the actual sort of size of the eye. Just like this. So that is looking about right. Of course, this is just a rough example. You'll have to sort of finesse around with the footage and your likings and stuff. And I'm actually going to select the mask and then turn down the mask feather, as you can see there, and then just basically scale it to 100%. That's just for the size of the composition, sorry. So as you can see, what we're going to do then is get the HUD and actually attach it to the null. So as you can see, if we play it through here, this HUD is actually attached to the null, so it'll start moving around in a second. As you can see, it is actually really violent. So what we can just do is just select that and then just put it a bit that way so it's not so harsh. And what we're going to do also is just select the motion blur, which is actually force motion blur, and then just select the motion blur. So when it actually does that, it's a lot sort of smoother. If I just show you here, as you can see, it's a lot smoother because it's actually sort of got that motion blur in there. So we're gonna actually have to fix it up because the null got messed up by the blink, or the tracking data did. What we're going to do is actually separate the layers. So once we sort of get to this point where my eye is closed, we're going to sort of, we're going to hit Control-Shift-D to split the layer, and then we're going to actually go into where it's sort of, the eye is fully open, and then just readjust that. So as you can see, when it does that opening sort of way, you could say, it is attached. So as you can see, it's just like that. We're actually going to sort of get the sort of maybe put it up a little bit so it is actually forcing a lot quicker, probably about there. So as you can see, we've actually sort of composited the actual HUD on top of the eye. Now it looks really, really bad and not realistic, and a lot of things here won't be perfect because I am rushing it because it is a tutorial. But what we're going to do is go back into the HUD, and then in the effects and presets panel, type in fast blur. Now the reason we're blurring all of these shape layers and stuff is because in real life, if we had one of these, it wouldn't be perfectly sharp because it would be in and out of focus because it is a 50mm lens with a sort of a nice range of depth of field. So what we're going to do is just, we're going to actually blur these elements quite a bit, and I'm just going to copy that and basically paste it to everything else. So as you can see, it is a bit blurred out. It looks quite better. So the next thing we're going to do is add a glow. So go into your effects and presets panel, just type in glow. By the way, this is in the HUD Eye, obviously, because you can see the footage. And we're going to just paste that on top of the HUD, and we're going to select alpha channel and then on top, and we're going to make the A and B color like a nice blue, sort of. So we can just select blue here, maybe like a nice light blue there, and then I'm just going to up the intensity, and then for the glow radius, just basically spread that out. Could even lower that, just like this. And while you're messing around with the glow, don't forget to actually copy it over to the second half, and basically just don't forget to make that mistake. A good sort of example too to decorate it is to actually create a new solid called this grid, is to add an actual grid. So under generate, just type in grid in the effects and presets panel, and then just drag that on. We can even drag the layer below everything. And then I'm just going to select this to width slider, and then just basically just slide this down a ton, or we could just put it to about there. And I'm actually just going to set the opacity to maybe, I don't know, 5. Let's see how that is. That's looking alright. So as you can see, we've got that sort of like little grid effect, as you can see there. And yeah, so that's basically the effects. We can even turn down the opacity if you want to make it even sort of more sort of realistic, that the actual HUD is in the scene. So maybe 70. So as you can see, we've got the final effect. It's not perfect because the track and stuff needs to be finessed with and stuff. And basically, it's all about creativity on how you create this HUD. It could look a lot better with some more creativity, I can't really say it. Anyway, it will look better if you put a lot of time and effort into creating the actual HUD itself. But anyway, guys, thank you guys so much for watching this tutorial. So basically, that's it for the awesome tutorial on how to create a futuristic HUD eye effect. Don't forget to check out my other tutorials. And if you would like me to create content for maybe a short film you're working on or a project, I am available for hire as a VFX artist. Just contact me at DigitalAE, and we can work stuff out and have a cool collaboration of films and stuffs. But thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye, guys.